That time again, thinking real estate time. Lori Dwyer Schlecki, Jackie Austin today.
There you go.
Welcome, welcome.
Well, here we are.
Mayoral candidate. I guess I'm probably not supposed to say that.
Oh, well.
Who cares?
There you go.
Fire me.
I'm out door knocking and
Or knocking on doors.
knocking in. Well, I just always call it when I'm
Door knocking.
when I'm doing real estate stuff. That's just what I call it. But I'm getting interesting wants and desires from constituents all over the city.
Anything we can talk about?
Well, I mean, one gentleman I would talk to actually talked to on the phone, talked about leaves,
Well,
dirty roads. That's kind of a consistent.
Those two.
Yeah, they go hand in hand, and
No surprise there.
no surprise. And I don't disagree. I mean, the last 2 years I've been out.
I'm
Picking up
just
leaves.
fascinated by the leaf, the frenzy,
Yeah.
the leaf frenzy.
Yeah.
Here in this
Well, I have been out with the Jackson High students and
Yeah.
on my own every weekend during the time of picking up leaves when the bins are there. So I would love to have that reinstated, believe me. And I did my own curbs and gutters
Yeah.
after it was all said and done. I get it. And then let's see, infrastructure, crumbling infrastructure, and of course, with regard to that, not only are our streets in bad shape, we have a huge water and sewer infrastructure redo that we've got to look at. So before we start tearing roads up, we've got to look at what's underneath and look at the big picture. And let's see what else. He mentioned that we voted to raise our property taxes, but that's not true. And so I corrected him on that one. We didn't do that. Anyhow.
No, we never vote to raise taxes.
Well, that was that mill. I assume that was the 3 mills that he was talking about, and we didn't get that on the proposal. I want to see what happens with proposal 1 before.
Yeah.
You think it's going down?
I do. Yeah.
Are you in favor of it though, or?
I'll keep that to myself, but I don't see people voting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it brings.
It's kind of a hidden 17%. They you hear a penny, but
Yeah.
it's not real. It's 17%
Well.
boost.
Yeah. I don't know. It spreads it out across to everybody instead of just if you do a millage increase to repair roads. Let's say you did that across the state. Only property owners are going to get hit with that, and the nonprofits don't get hit or anything. So it puts the burden on a select few as opposed to everybody.
Well, it's also, you could go the other way. It puts the burden on people that can't afford it.
Yeah,
That can't afford a tax hike.
right.
Who are
None of us can afford a tax hike.
Right,
quite
but who
honestly.
are the non-property tax owners?
Well, there's a lot of. I mean, our industry or our world is turning to renters actually.
Well.
And, look at the young professionals. They rent property. They don't own property.
Well, they do if think they're going to be mobile.
And
I
I think in generally, I don't think kids are buying. I say kids because I have a kid two kids in the 30s, 6 kids.
Oh, you
One
got a
that's
lot of-
almost going to be 40,
You got a lot
so
of
he
kids.
gets out of
Yeah,
that
but
ballpark here.
She went from 1 kid to 6.
6.
Wow,
Well,
fast.
I'm counting Bill's kids, I
Fast
love
work.
them just as much as my own. So, out of our household, how many kids own homes?
3.
4. Well, I guess I'm.
Oh yeah, okay.
But the demographics just show that in 2025, 75% of our households are going to be without kids. It's going to be the baby boomers, and then the millennials, and then maybe whoever's starting to come up after them. But
Mhm.
so you're putting the burden on property owners, basically.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't know. it's an interesting debate. We've got the state of Michigan's coming to our next council meeting to give a presentation. And I thought I read, and I'm not 100% sure about this, that Earl Pluska and Mike Shirkey were doing a couple more presentations.
Well, there's one tonight in Coldwater.
Yeah, I'm not going to Coldwater.
They had the one last week. They had a
Yeah, I couldn't make that one.
They had about 100.
Yeah, I heard they had a really good turnout, and I think that's good that people are going.
Good turnout for that.
Yeah, I'm trying to do a neighborhood meeting on, I think, the 23rd of March.
Oh, I knew you were gonna ask me that, and I forgot. I think it's that week
Yeah,
sometime.
and I'm gonna see if I can get someone from the state to maybe come and do a presentation there. I don't know if I'll be successful, but I'm gonna try. The more we hear and know, the better we can make an informed vote.
Sure. Sure.
But anyhow, let's talk real estate.
Yep.
Did you know David Hasselhoff's mansion's on for
What
sale?
was that
Who?
you just said?
Did I say his name wrong?
You said like a lot of L's in there that not really.
Hasselhoff's.
David Hasselhoff.
Hasselhoff's.
I didn't know
mansion.
that.
Yeah, 2.3 million.
Oh, that sounds like a bargain.
5-bedroom French Mediterranean style house.
Does he have
Newly
a pool?
remodeled, the master suite complete with a sexy bathroom. Quote unquote. What do you think that means? Sexy bathroom. I've never described a house. Maybe we should start describing it that way.
Right. I'm always
Does he
looking
have a
for new
pool?
ways to describe.
It looks like it. And he has a waterfall. Pool, rock waterfall, surrounded by palm trees and
Where-
green grass. And Zillow claims that it's underpriced.
Where's it at? Rise Junction?
I don't know that it tells us.
Well,
Wait, who would think
how can
of
I
it?
buy it? I don't even know where it's at.
I don't know. I'd have to read this
Okay.
in more depth.
Wow.
It doesn't say.
Looks like California.
Some good real estate.
I
info
figured I
there.
really wasn't going to buy it, nor was I going to be involved in the sale of it, so I didn't really look to see where.
Somewhere-
Oh, here it is.
El
Calabasa, California.
Calabasas?
There it is.
Near El Segundo.
Oh, yeah, I don't know where that one is. Okay, so then the next thing is, did you know interest rates are under 4%?
Okay.
Did you know that? So I thought
No, I didn't.
it would calculate for anybody who is on the fence about buying, whether they should buy now or not. Let's pretend you rent a house. It always does that.
Okay.
And let's say your rent is $700 a month. And we'll round up to 4% interest over 30 years.
No, that
That
can't
can't be right. Let me
We've
try
got
this
it right.
again. Bear with me.
This is not playing well on the
I know,
radio.
this is like a
Yeah.
dead air here. I'll try
Yeah.
to talk a little bit. She's trying to calculate on this calculator.
Yeah, it says that the mortgage payment would be
Oh yeah, no, that would probably be right.
$221,000.
You can get a mortgage for 20. Well, okay, so let's do it this way. So
If you're paying
I
$700,000 or $700 a month.
listen.
paying
okay.
rent,
Okay, go Jackie.
So I had a buyer that just bought a house for $75,000. That's probably a little bit more like what people would be looking for.
Yeah, well, this was just a random number I picked, so
Right.
I thought
so
that was pretty. Yeah,
75,000. Her mortgage, her principal and interest was around the 450 range. So then adding in taxes and insurance, she was still paying. It was about 650 was what her monthly payment was, which was less than she was paying in rent. So and she got a $75,000 house. for
Right.
that.
So for $700, just your principal and interest, your mortgage would be about $220. That's a lot of house.
That is a lot of house. You could buy almost anything in Jackson. There are very few houses that would be out of your price
Right.
range.
There would be like one.
so
In the
you're
city.
telling me if you bought a $220,000 house, your payment would be $700?
If you put zero down. yeah.
Principal and interest.
But you couldn't, yeah, just principal and interest.
That
But if
doesn't-
you can afford a 200,
that does not sound right.
well, that's 4%
Come on now,
interest.
you're the pro.
I'm telling you, 4%.
You're
over
telling me.
30, yeah,
Hold
30.
it.
I know. Yeah.
It's crazy.
That you could get a $200,000 house and it would cost you $700 a month.
Plus your taxes and insurance. But let's on the high side say your taxes are $200 a month, Insurance, let's say on the high side, $100.
Probably
So-
a little bit more than 100.
So-
Finding hundreds average.
Okay.
Now, so.
All right, so let's say 150. So for $10.50 a month, you're in a pretty poshy place.
Okay.
Pity posh.
Pretty poshy place. PPP. Not bad, right? So let's take the average house in the city of Jackson. What's our
Well,
average sale price?
Just take a
$75,000.
$100,000 house.
Yeah, just do 100,000. That's about average. in
Okay.
Jackson.
4%.
4%. This is nothing down, and you can't get a zero down unless you're out in the rural. You can get rural development or VA. Everything else requires
3.5% down.
3.5.
At least 3.5%.
4% interest, 30 years. Your payment is $120. No, that can't be right. This is just
Laura, you're killing me.
You might want to
I-
check your
4%.
calculator.
Well, it's 4%. I usually use 4.5% to be on the high side. But this says interest rates are under
Yeah, it's what's coming up.
$120.
That's not right.
Houses are cheap.
$100,000.
According to this calculator that I
Well, your
have.
calculator is not calculating.
Well, I hope it's right. I'll have to go
120?
home. I almost brought my other calculator.
You'd be selling houses like
Well,
Hinckley's Donuts. Come on.
Well, if any
Well-
of my mortgage brokers are out there, they can do the math and
They've
call
just
in.
driven off the road. Are you kidding?
Yeah, I mean, I keep
she
doing
keeps
it.
calculating and it keeps coming out that amount.
Right.
So
That's not right.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
Jackie.
Houses are cheap, and I'm.
$100,000 house?
but you gotta put money down, so that means your house payment will be less. I'm just
Well,
saying.
you put
I'm
3,000
gonna
down.
go when I get back to my office. I'll double check with my other calculator.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So that at least should stimulate some interest, right?
Right. It will get people talking.
All right, and so for those naysayers though that don't know whether or not it's worth buying a house, I found a website for you. I'm not gonna tell you the website only because it's too lengthy, so it'd be easier for you to Google home rate of return calculator. Was my home a good investment? So just Google that. Home rate of return calculator, was my home a good investment? And it only goes back to like if you purchased your house anywhere from 1996 to current, you put in your purchase price, and then you put in what the value of the house is today.
How do people know what the value of their house is today?
Well, they usually have an idea, or maybe they've talked to a realtor and
Okay.
gotten an estimate, right? Or
Or you
they
could
had an
use
appraisal
assessor
done on it.
numbers.
They could use the assessor's numbers because 1994 Proposal A.
I think you know what houses are selling in
Do you have an
neigh-
idea what your
in
house is
neighborhood.
worth?
Roughly.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're sitting on 10 acres in the middle of nowhere and it's,
Right.
a unique piece of property, you might not know. But I ran ours and it looked like, it was huge, the rate of return that we've gotten on ours. We bought ours in 94 on Michigan Avenue, and we moved into it in 1996. So that I thought was an interesting website. All right, next topic.
Yes.
How about, did you know that Starbucks, if you have a Starbucks in your neighborhood, that the average home prices are higher?
I didn't know that.
Well, I didn't know that either, and
Now I want to know why.
well, living near a Starbucks has its benefits for homeowners, whether you're a coffee drinker or not. The value of homes within a quarter mile of a Starbucks rise faster than those that aren't.
That's
That
just
seems
silly.
weird.
That's
That's-
according to Zillow. Now, you
I
can't trust
just-
Zillow on everything.
I guess not.
So I started thinking about our,
I almost trust your calculator more than that.
so I started thinking about our Starbucks. So we have one on
We do?
North Wisner.
No, it's on West Avenue.
I'm at
West and
Right.
Andrew.
You're right.
No, but it's
And-
way out by the highway.
Right, and I'm gonna guess that it has not affected the value
I would
of
say
those. But you know why I think-
0.00.
Right, which
Those are all, they're nice older homes out there.
they are.
Yeah.
But I think you know why I think it hasn't affected the value of those properties? Is there are no sidewalks to get to it. It is surrounded by grass. There's no sidewalks.
Oh, to get to Starbucks?
You can't walk to that well, you can.
But
You'd be
do you have to
walking
go
on
in
the
the
road.
street or?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be unsafe.
Okay.
There are no sidewalks. There's none on Andrew. There isn't a sidewalk on Northwest Avenue, I don't think,
Okay.
at that point. You're gonna
Not
cut
there.
through Bob Evans' parking lot to get to it, and,
Oh,
yeah. And most Starbucks are in neighborhoods. Do we have Starbucks anywhere else?
In
No.
Jackson?
no.
Not
Just
at
at Meyer. I think
Meyer?
there might be one at Meyer.
I'm not a coffee drinker.
Maybe? I
I'm not
don't
either.
know. I don't drink Meyer, or I don't drink
I've
coffee.
often thought about, submitting our company's name for your coffee of the week, or whatever.
Oh, well,
But we don't drink
We don't drink
coffee
coffee
in
in
our
our
office.
Oh, you can-
Very few coffee drinkers.
Well,
You can
Bill
dump
and
it
Jeff
out.
do, but, and
Yeah,
Mary
that wouldn't
does.
be worth it.
Actually, everybody in the office except for the two of us drinks coffee.
There you go.
Just FYI.
You could appease your staff.
So the biggest Starbucks effect was in Boston, just FYI. Home values went up 171%.
That just doesn't,
Yeah,
it's,
I-
why?
but this, again, it's
Why,
coming
why?
from Zillow.
Why? Why would
Why
that?
were you hanging out on Zillow so
I wasn't
much?
on Zillow, I was on CNN Money.
Oh, okay.
They must hang out on Zillow. Oh, here I did print this. I thought I did, but I didn't hear it. Our house on Michigan Avenue from 96 to current, our rate of return would be 128.6%.
That's a good rate.
According to this
Mm-hmm.
software, little website. Okay. Oh, there was another story I wanted to talk about. I don't want to do this one yet.
You're running out of time.
So
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, what are the 9 factors that help increase the value of a property that would surprise you?
It's too late in the day for that.
Oh,
I
it's
hope
early in the day.
hope
Well,
you
for
have a
us,
I don't
it's
know, this
early.
is my third meeting already today. The third
Third?
thing. This is my third thing today already.
Oh,
It's crazy.
all right. 9 surprising things that add value to your house.
Okay.
If you live by water.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not so surprising.
No,
If you live by parks and open space.
that makes sense.
This one.
I like this one. If you, I can't even say it with a straight face. If you live near a Walmart.
No.
Yeah, that's
Really?
what it says. Yeah.
Wow.
The average size house that's an uptick of $4,000 to $7,000 because you live by Walmart.
Okay.
Who would have thought?
I would buy Walmart more than Starbucks. I just don't know what a little corner coffee. I don't know.
No, I think Starbucks. I'm going for Starbucks. Solar systems. I don't know if that's true in Michigan though, but that adds $15,000 to $40,000 depending on the size of the
Oh,
house.
Yeah,
I
but
believe
how
that.
much does it cost to put them in?
Well,
Yeah. And here's the one I like though: walkability. If you live in a walkable area, and I see that as a realtor, that the house that's way out in the middle of nowhere is going to be harder to sell than that has sidewalks.
okay.
Or that you can walk to, or has, multimodal paths or whatever. So walkability adds $4,000 to $34,000 to the average price, property value. Being able to stroll to school, parks, stores, and restaurants will raise your value. Accessory dwelling units. So if you have a little apartment on top of the garage, maybe. I can see that. Jackie's gonna add one, so when I get old and feeble, I can just run and, live with her.
Right.
This one's weird. Professional sports arenas.
Oh, I would say that.
Would you? Well,
Yeah.
you're a sports guy.
Well, no, but
Of course you would.
be a lot of.
I would think there'd be a lot of traffic. That might
Could
turn
be.
me
I
off.
wouldn't want to live near that. Yeah.
But maybe. But the traffic's gonna be sporadic, right? Community gardens. And then this last one I agree with wholeheartedly. Trees.
Trees.
Yes.
Mature trees anywhere in your yard will add 2%. Mature trees on your street will add 3%. Mature trees in your front yard, 3 to 5%. Mature trees in high-income neighborhoods, add 10 to 15%. I'll have to make sure the city gets that
No, we're out of time.
article. So did you just cut me off?
I'm gonna have
About
to.
to. So.
Well,
All
all right.
thinking real estate.
780-3800. Zero.
Brought to you by
like
American
roasting
Jiffy
that.
Tax.
Giving can be a rewarding
Oh.
experience. And